Welcome back, investors, to Ticker Time News. I'm Adam, and thank you for joining me for the After Hours show or the Market Close live stream, whichever you'd like to choose. But remember, the most important thing about the show is answering your questions. So if you do have a question, just leave the ticker symbol and your question in the comments, and we'll go over it live during the show or cover it in another video. So let's just jump right into it. Today was a down day, red day all across the board. The S&P 500 fell 1.5%. on Thursday, dropping an early 1.2% gain that it had. Now, a few particular reasons why the market fell today. One was a technical factor, right? The S&P 500 was up against its 200-day moving average. And like I said in yesterday's video, expect this resistance. And with these technical factors, it just happened and resistance stopped it. Now, rising interest rates were also a problem. A hawkish-sounding Fed commentary that overshadowed, excuse me, a batch of amazing earnings results, like Tesla, for example. Now, the other indices also gave up early gains to close sharply lower. The Dow Jones, it slipped 1.1%. The Nasdaq fell 1.2%. And the Russell 2000, it had the worst day. It gave up 2.3%. Now, all 11 of the S&P 500 sectors did close lower in a steady decline, with energy down 3.1%, communication services down 2.4%, taking the brunt of the damage, those two sectors. Now, the consumer staples sectors, they outperformed on a relative basis, declining just 0.1%. Now, Tesla, ticker symbol TSLA, they were the main driver in early action, like many of the other stocks, right? Rallying into the beginning of the day as much as 12% after the company topped earnings estimates and then reaffirmed its multi-year growth expectations. And the company's got some big plans going ahead. Now, like the broader market, though, Tesla shares also cooled off throughout the day. They started up. You can see this big red candle for today, right? Let me open this up here just a little bit. There we go. So it bounced around that $1,000 line. I'm going to go to a 5-minute chart here on Tesla just real quick. You can see big gap up overnight, right? And then it was just a steady decline all day long until we hit this low just under $1,000 at it looks like $996 was the low, and then it bounced right back above that $1,000 level and then held, right? Held on tight to stay above $1,000. You can see a similar shape like this in other amazing companies that were up this morning, finished the day in the red. But Tesla did finish the day up 3.23%. So that is better than most companies out there. Now, investors seem to first lose confidence as the S&P 500 couldn't stay above its 200-day moving average, which is at 44.97 earlier in the day. Now, the benchmark ultimately fell below its 50-day moving average to close, which that 50-day moving average right now is at 44.13. Now, if we look at the 5-minute chart for the S&P 500 here, I mean, you can see almost like Tesla, right? A gap up here in the morning and then just a steady sell-off all day long. And we actually rebounded in the last 10 minutes of the session for today. But still, that was down 1.4%. This is the 5-minute chart giving you a window of how the day went on the S&P 500. When we go back to the daily chart for the S&P 500, you'll notice, I'm going to take volume away here, but you notice I added a couple boxes to our chart here. Number one, I added these two boxes where we've been moving sideways. The bottom box starts at about 4,400 and then goes down to 43.75. That seems to be the bottom support area over the past several sessions. And then resistance has been at right around that 44.75. So I started at 44.65, and then I went up to 44.90 to give us like a box there that we've been trading in. So we've got this support and resistance boxes added for where we've been trading. Tomorrow, it would not surprise me if we either traded sideways with little movement or we rallied back up to this resistance box up here at the top. That wouldn't surprise me. It also wouldn't surprise me if we dipped lower into this box right here, because we're just about, we're at the top third of this box. It's possible we could go to the bottom 2/3 of the box, maybe going down to a low somewhere around 43.75 and then bouncing off of that. That wouldn't surprise me. But the positive thing that I see that maybe could be setting up a sideways motion tomorrow is on the 5-minute chart for today. We had 2, 3 green candles here. A real big one, a real nice bounce back about 15 minutes from the close. And then we had a red candle that didn't give it all back, and then just a very small green candle. This shows me that maybe tomorrow we could move sideways, maybe inside this yellow box, right? Because we found a little bit of resistance when we pop back up at the top of this yellow box on that red line. So a couple things to watch out there for with the S&P 500. Tomorrow could be a sideways day, like we had on the 20th of April, like we had on the 18th of April, and like we had on the 8th of April, and like we had on the 6th of April. Those barely moving and just going sideways, basically. I could totally see that for tomorrow. I don't know if we could get a snapback rally tomorrow from where we are right now. It is possible because you can see, I mean, we've almost been alternating days, but we typically get a couple red days, then a green day. And we actually have our 2 red candles here, right? So maybe we can get some sort of a green candle tomorrow. But I'm just, I'm just talking too long on the subject. Need to move forward is what I need to do. But with the S&P 500 dipping below that 200-day moving average, that was just it for the day, and it kept on going. And then closing below the 50-day moving average, you know what I like to say, with the 50-day moving average, bullish above, bearish below, and we are below it right now. So just keep that in mind and keep that slogan in the back of your mind too. Always use it because it is very helpful. All right, so we talked about the updated boxes here, and then the top box, I extended it so it went out a little bit longer. Okay, risk sentiment was further pressured as the 10-year flirted with 2.96%. I have said this for a while. The 10-year yield is going to 3%, and then it might cool off when it gets there for just a little bit. Fed Chair Powell also said that he wasn't ready to declare peak inflation. And if you haven't seen my peak inflation video yet, there is a link in the description of this video. Check that out when you have some time. I talked about peak inflation, what it means, what that means for the broader economy, and of course, what it means for the stock market. I also added that the Fed could move. Well, the Fed chair added, not me, that the Fed could move to a tight policy after reaching a neutral rate of some sort, if necessary. Now, on a related note, Chicago Fed President Evans, which is an FOMC voter in 2023, not right now, plans to retire in early 2023. So we'll have a new person take over that place. Okay, the 10-year yield, it did calm down a bit. Now, if we look at that, we can do this all together using TradingView. There is a link in the description for a free account to TradingView. Just go to US10Y, and that gives you the 10-year yield. So you can look at it here with us. You can see it kind of stalled today. It did move up, but it kind of stalled a bit there. It pulled back from its highs, but it did settle 8 basis points higher at 2.92%. Well, the 2-year yield, it also rose a little bit more at a quicker pace, 12 basis points to 2.69%. And we can look at the 2-year US 02Y. Don't forget 02. That 0 throws people off sometimes. You can see that rise there for today, and it's already shaping up to pull back a little bit for tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. It had a massive run up, and then it stalled for a little while, had a couple 3 red days, and then it has just been marching higher. I really could see a 3 percentage points for both the 10 and the 2, and maybe get another inversion of the yield at that same time. That's very possible. Okay, WTI Crude, you could actually just type in WTI Crude on TradingView, and that will get you crude oil right there for you to track. And you can see that massive run that it's been on. Get rid of those extra indicators. And it seems to be following in some sort of trading pattern outside of the anomalies of the big spikes up and down. But it's on a trend line right now, and it is moving a little bit higher. We've almost got some sort of a bottom kind of built in here, right about $95, $98 or so. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and throw a line there, because that is a really strong line, right about $95 a barrel, where it just has bounced off. There's been so many reactions. I mean, it acted as resistance back, February 14th, acted as resistance on February 28th, but then on March the 1st, it just took off 10.9%. And then it's used that line as support ever since. So, again, it's marching higher. It was up 1.6% today to close at $104 a barrel. Now, the upwards trend in rates kept a lid on growth stocks today, but the streaming space, let's just look at Netflix right quick. Boy, oh boy, the streaming space, meanwhile, it just could not catch a break. Netflix, look at this, down even further today. Really not as bad, 3.5%. But there was an announcement from Warner Brothers Discovery. Ticker symbol is WBD. Now, they announced today that they're going to shut down CNN Plus. They launched CNN Plus not too long ago, a few months ago, and no one's signing up for the service, right? And they're going to now just shut the service down altogether on April the 30th. So that sent this stock lower, by 6.7% today. They were hoping to get in on some of the streaming service action, but they just couldn't manage it. They are up 1% in the after hours, so maybe there are some people buying the dip there. But there were some big hopes, but maybe people just don't want to watch CNN. Okay, in other news, AT&T, ticker symbol T, was up 4%. Dow Incorporated, ticker symbol DOW, was up 2.9%. Nucor, ticker symbol NUE, and this is one you have to watch. NUE, Nucor, they were up 3.8% today. Nucor has been on a run. It's going to continue to run. This is a hot one, big time. I mean, this thing got as high today as 187 and a low of 169, up 3.75%. This one is going to be a runner. It had its earnings today, and beautiful news. They expect big things. Also, the airline industry has been moving. American Airlines, AAL, is a ticker symbol, up 3.8%. United Airlines, UAL, up 9.3%, and Alaska Air, ticker symbol ALK, they were also up 0.2%. But all of these companies that I just announced, especially Nucor, which deals in metals, they all came out with great earnings reports, right? So we've got to keep these on our radar. They're doing really well. Nice earnings. Airlines, they see a ton of pent-up demand. And then Nucor. Nucor is a big one that I'm definitely watching and following. It's been doing fabulous, and they, in their earnings, suspect that they will continue that way and march higher. But great earnings report. Now, on the economic data today, we got initial jobless claims for the week ending April 16th. It decreased by 2,000 to 184,000. Continuing jobless claims for the week ending April 9th decreased by 58,000 to 1.417 million, which is the lowest level since February 21st of 1970. Long time ago. Now, the key takeaway here is that, well, the important thing to note is that this covered the week in which the survey for the April employment report was conducted. So with these numbers being down, the low levels of initial claims should feed expectations for strong non-farm payroll growth in April. So it should look pretty good. Now, looking ahead, investors will receive the preliminary IHS market manufacturing and the services PMIs for April on Friday. Now, I want to talk about one last company, and then we'll wrap things up, and that's Tractor Supply. They came out with earnings, really good results. Ticker symbol is TSCO for Tractor Supply. This is a company that has been doing excellent. We'll get the other indicators up here. Volume. This is a company that did well during the pandemic. It has struggled a bit in 2022, but I think that it's still a solid company. The valuation has come off a little bit, making it a bit more easy to jump in. It's down 8.1% year to date. So, you know, it's pulled back some. It's not back up to those highs that it reached on the 12th of April, but we're nowhere near the lows that were hit on the 24th of February. That was a great buy the dip opportunity, by the way, when this thing fell that far. That was really good. I don't know if we're going to get another opportunity like that until the market turns south. But Tractor Supply, they reported earnings. They beat on EPS. Really, really nice. Oh, excuse me there. I was just catching my breath. Okay, so they beat on EPS. They also beat on revenue. They projected some really nice guidance going forward for the company. So it's looking pretty good. But the EPS beat by 23 cents. Revenue rose 8.3% year over year to $3.02 billion. And they reaffirmed their fiscal year 22 EPS guidance and revenue guidance. So that was really good. Comparable stores, that's what I was trying to get at. The sales rose 5.2%. And they see good sales demand across many items. Everyday merchandise was what they used for including consumables, usables, edibles, almost every type of product. They see good, strong demand. Now, the company's e-commerce sales experienced double-digit percentage growth for the 39th consecutive quarter. So they're doing really good growing out their e-commerce. Gross profit increased 7.4% to $1.06 billion. So they're looking good, folks, for fiscal year 22 and ahead. And even in a recession, if we do get to that point in our economy, they sell necessities for farmers. So, and they sell necessities for people living a rural life, especially those that have animals. If you have animals, you still have to feed the animals, even if you're in a recession. So they will do very, very well, even in a recessionary environment because of that fact. Okay, that's what I had wrapped up for today. If you have a question, leave it in the comments. We'll go over it in our next video. I want to thank you so very much for watching. You can help the channel out by clicking that like button. Also, click that share button and share this video wherever you can. And also, click the first link in the description. Go ahead, do it. Look at it. I want you to click that first link in the description and see what you think. You can help out the channel, and you can also get some amazing benefits as well that can help you in your journey to becoming a better investor and point you in the right direction for where to look in different categories, right? Maybe you want to find yourself a good dividend stock to ride out this coming recession. Well, you'll find it in the first link in the description. So click it. I'll see you there. I hope you have a great day investing tomorrow, and we'll talk again tomorrow after the markets have closed. So thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.